So one of the things here at the Apocalyptic Ashram that we'd like to promote is hanging out with your pets, right? Because your pets deserve to spend time exploring stuff too. And one of the things that I've recognized is grounding. So like walking barefoot, just like he's walking barefoot, I'm walking barefoot, and it can really awaken you to a lot of things, right? It can bring you to an awareness of right now that maybe you haven't held before. Because if you don't pay attention right now to where you're stepping, you might step on something that you don't want to step on, right? And that can ruin your day. And so if we're always recognizing the the sources of pain in our life, we're going to work consciously to remove the sources of pain in our life, right? And so when we remove the sources of pain in our life, we are limiting um, our exposure to it, right? I mean, because like in the areas that you're normally going to walk through, do you want them to be full of broken glass and rocks, like really pokey rocks and trash? Or are you willing to consciously walk through this environment and pick up these items as you see that it's a problem, right? So when we are consciously engaging with our environment, we're we're going to be doing things in a way that we're going to see the highest return on our investment of our time. Our time is our most precious commodity, and when we manage it appropriately, and I mean, 'cause like right now, I'm 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 raking up these little items around here that, unless they fall out of the sky, they're just out of the way, right? They're being brought to a usefulness. I mean, like if I wanted to build a little nest or something, or if I needed to insulate some walls, or if I needed to start a fire, right? Um, I could do that. And 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 what I've done right here is I've made this area somewhere that I know, or I feel more confident that if I was walking um, in the dark barefoot, it's not going to feel like I'm stepping on a Lego, right? Hi there, big guy. He says, yeah, I don't like stepping on Legos either, huh? Yeah, watch out. Watch out. Sit down. Sit down. Well, and barefooting also, um, it really it connects you to your environment. Uh, there's even science that shows that grounding our body to the earth has health benefits. It helps you be a little more calm, helps you fight disease, really, because it releases free radical formations. And you don't have to trust me; you can look it up. But I've had some time, and I've looked up a lot of stuff, and I've exposed myself to a lot of knowledge that I hadn't learned on television, or from the culture. So, and the other thing we do is, when we're consciously aware of what we're doing with our environment, we're always creating it in a way that it's going to work the best for us, right? So I had some guys drop off some concrete. They needed a place to dispose of it, and instead of them paying hundreds of dollars at the dump, they asked me if I could put it to use. And I said, well, of course. And because I was aware right now of how I can use my resources. And when I'm aware right now in how I can use my resources, nothing is really trash anymore, right? I mean, even things that look like trash aren't trash if we use them in the right way. And when we use them in the right way, they become an asset rather than a liability. And that's where, like, they in the 70s, there was this um, television program called, I think it was called like Sanford and Son. And Sanford, he was a really smart man. He knew how to turn other people's trash into his treasure. And people made fun of him for it because his place wasn't. It didn't only have. Watch out! It didn't only have grass. It had stuff. He had lots of stuff. But with stuff, it um, it can actually be better than money because there's a lot of other currencies in the world that somebody just decided one day that currency wasn't worth anything anymore. It's like the game of Monopoly isn't being used anymore, so that money is worthless. You might as well start a fire with it. But if you have things that you can use, and these things that you can use protect you from the rain and thieves or rapists and robbers, um, and maybe these things can help you to get from here to there more efficiently than walking, right? And maybe these things can provide your power for you. And these things, instead of paying every month for somebody else to provide your power, there's these things that you can buy that make power. And there's called generators or solar panels, or this dog that wants to run all over the place. I want to build him like a big gerbil wheel, something like 12 feet in diameter, and when he starts running on that, it'll power the house, right? What do we call that, bud? We call that a good idea, to burn up your energy and pay me back something for the food I give you. Huh? That'd be all right. What are you doing? What? Oh, you're digging? You making a good spot too? So anyway, just to finish this video out, yeah, walking barefoot, it's a pretty good idea. And when you are aware of your right now moment, like right now, in this right now moment, we're creating a pathway for vehicles to be able to back onto, and it's offset. It's white, so that way, even in the dark, you can do it a little easier. And the concrete that those guys dropped off, right, turned into a really cool big wall of concrete. And now imagine if we would have taken this concrete, and you could even you could take a little bit of wet concrete and you can put it in the cracks of the dry concrete, and it all becomes concrete. And if we would have dug uh, a hole, or dug out a section of hillside and built these in like a U shape, right? And then we could put a couple of frames or trusses or cargo boxes or whatever over the top of it to keep you dry. How long would that last, right? And it would be insulated like a cave, and it would maybe even make it to where your inexpensive property out in the county doesn't even have a house that is a permitted structure. So when you don't have a permitted permanent structure, You can just maintain it as a private property. And when you do these kind of things, you can keep your property taxes very low, or maybe even non-existent, depending upon the state you live in. So living in cities has been advertised to us. It's been advertised to us by the same people who advertise us the idea that we should be wearing rubber-soled shoes. It's being advertised to the same people who benefit off of us buying a new car every 3 or 4 years. It's been advertised to us by the people of this culture that are um, motivated by consumption rather than your ability to create. And I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. I mean, it's not a problem. I mean, the world would be a boring place if everybody was just like me, right? But I think the world could use a little more people aligned with health, happiness, peace, and abundance. And so I'm the mad monk, and I show people another way, and another way um, might even be healthier. And you might enjoy waking up every day and creating cool things. I mean, like this only took me like 3 days, not consecutive, because it's a lot of freaking concrete. But I mean, somebody else brought me a resource that they were gonna have to pay to get rid of, and so they paid me a little bit to be. You're such a big whiner, huh? Who are you? Who are you? Why you whine so much? So he gave me like $50, and he said, "Hey, can I drop this off?" And when he dropped it off, it was like 13 loads out of a pickup truck, and they were just kind of all piled right here, like all just all random. And by the end of the couple days of their hauling, I was like, "Oh my God, what am I gonna do with all this concrete?" And then I started just stacking it on the edge and keeping it as vertical as I could. And yeah, I mean it's been standing that way for years now, and the neighbors have even complimented me on it. And um, so anyway, yeah. So if you learn how to recognize trash as treasure, you can see that the world is full of treasures for us to gather from. So give this guy some attention, or he's gonna cry me a river. If you like what I'm doing, you can subscribe right here, or you can check out the video that YouTube thinks is good for you right here.